It was an ordinary Tuesday morning, and I was preparing to head off to school when an unexpected knock sounded at our door. I opened it, and to my utter astonishment, a woman who bore a striking resemblance to me but was adorned in extravagant attire rushed in and enveloped me in an almost suffocating hug. Her trembling voice repeatedly whispered, "Oh, my baby, my baby." Struggling to extricate myself from her embrace, I finally managed to ask, "Who are you, and what do you want?" My mother appeared on the scene, equally taken aback by the unexpected visitor. The woman introduced herself as Natalie and declared that she had come to reclaim me. I stood there bewildered. I had known since I was 7 years old that I was adopted. My wonderful parents had provided me with a loving and fulfilling life. I had friends, and I was genuinely grateful for everything. Why was this woman here now, and what could she possibly want? Over the course of an hour, my biological mother explained that she had carried an immense burden of guilt for giving me up for adoption, a decision she deeply regretted. She deemed it the gravest mistake of her life and was now resolute in her determination to rectify it. She expressed her desire to establish a relationship with me and reassured us that she possessed the means to provide for both of us comfortably. She even shared pictures of her opulent house and luxurious car, revealing her considerable wealth. Throughout her impassioned plea, I remained silent. My adoptive mother informed Natalie that we would need time to deliberate on this unexpected proposition, promising to get back to her with our decision at a later time. After that initial encounter, Natalie left me with one last hug, leaving me feeling confused and uncertain about my stance toward her. I barely knew the woman, so when my adoptive mother inquired whether I wished to see her again, I unequivocally declined. However, a series of events unfolded at school that prompted me to reevaluate my perspective on the situation. Gavin, a remarkably attractive and charming boy I had harbored a deep crush on for quite some time, was seen openly flirting with a girl named Ruby. Witnessing the way he gazed at her and engaged in conversation with her ignited an unexpected sense of irritation within me. I had wanted to muster the courage to approach him for 2 long months, but always chickened out when the opportunity arose. Now I was left feeling indignant with myself for my timidity. My frustration grew as I contemplated whether Gavin's attraction to Ruby was solely based on her physical appearance. She was undeniably the most stylishly dressed girl in our school, perpetually adorned in trendy outfits and exquisite makeup. Rumor had it that she woke up at 5 in the morning every day just to prepare herself, a notion I couldn't help but consider. Gazing at my own reflection in the bathroom mirror, I couldn't help but acknowledge my own perceived plainness and lack of style. An idea struck me like a lightning bolt. I needed a makeover if I wanted Gavin to notice me. Realizing that my adoptive parents couldn't afford an extensive wardrobe upgrade, I decided to reach out to Natalie using the business card she had left behind. After all, she had expressed a strong desire to meet me, and I surmised that she might shower me with gifts from time to time. I made the choice to visit her, and her residence left me awestruck. Upon arriving, I was welcomed by her imposing bodyguard, and as soon as Natalie laid eyes on me, she greeted me with a sweet yet somewhat insincere tone. "Oh, here she comes. I have been hoping you would come." However, before I could respond, her phone rang, interrupting our conversation. Natalie answered her phone call and began conversing as though I were invisible. Afterward, she signaled to one of the girls present, who promptly led me to a room filled with an array of new clothes, designer bags, and accessories. Everything exuded a sense of sparkle and allure, reminiscent of the high-fashion garments one might see on the runway. The prospect of having access to all these items in one place filled me with exhilaration. The woman overseeing the selection allowed me to try on anything that caught my eye, placing the items I liked into special bags for me. 2 hours later, I found myself in possession of enough shoes and clothing to last me for at least another 2 years. Natalie eventually approached me and nonchalantly remarked, "I hope you enjoyed yourself. Feel free to take whatever you need. I have to head to work now. Someone will arrange transportation for you." As much as I was excited about acquiring all these extravagant items for free, I couldn't shake a growing sense of annoyance. Was this her idea of getting to know me? Her demeanor left me feeling as though I were inconsequential. I pondered the situation throughout the night, but eventually dismissed my doubts, chalking it up to her being exceptionally busy. The following day at school, I confidently donned the attire Natalie had generously provided. People began to regard me differently, with the girls inquiring about my new jacket and stylish jeans. One of them exclaimed, "Wow, Nova, where have you been hiding all these fabulous clothes? You look absolutely stunning." I was elated to receive such compliments since nobody had ever commented on my style before. During the break, I passed by Gavin, and for the first time, he greeted me with a warm smile and complimented, "Hey, you look beautiful today." My heart fluttered with excitement, and I blushed as I stammered, "Oh, hi, thank you." I couldn't help but wonder about the incredible impact a mere change in my outfit had on my visibility. What more could the rest of these clothes do? I continued to wear my new wardrobe, relishing the newfound attention and popularity it brought me. I quickly made friends with the popular girls who took a keen interest in me. For the first time, my after-school schedule was filled with various activities, and it seemed like everyone wanted to ask me out. Finally, Gavin, the boy I had a crush on, asked me out while we were hanging out in the cafeteria. He looked at me and said, "Would you like to go to a movie and have dinner with me this weekend?" Without hesitation, I enthusiastically accepted his invitation. Finally, I had a date. Upon returning home, I eagerly began searching for the perfect outfit to wear. To my dismay, I realized that I had already worn all of Natalie's clothes and Gavin had seen me in them. Moreover, I didn't have a special dress for the occasion. I considered paying Natalie another visit, even though she hadn't reached out the last time I was there. I was sure she'd be pleased to see me again. To my surprise, it seemed as though Natalie had anticipated my return. The next day, she was waiting for me in her Mercedes outside my school. "Come on, I have a wonderful surprise for you," she said with a smile. Excited, I followed her lead. During the car ride, we engaged in some light conversation, and she mentioned that she worked as a fashion designer, which explained the well-appointed room in her house. I began sharing more about myself, feeling like we were bonding. However, upon our arrival at her house, everything changed. Natalie completely ignored me and instructed the same girl from my previous visit to attend to my needs. I was taken aback by her abrupt shift in behavior. Confused, I asked the girl to convey my desire to speak with Natalie, but she explained that Natalie was occupied with pressing matters. It became evident that something was amiss. Did Natalie believe she could win me over with gifts? If she had no intention of conversing, why did she invite me in the first place? Feeling disheartened after my last encounter with Natalie, I made up my mind never to return to her house. Instead, I focused on my upcoming plans. That weekend, I went to Gavin's house, donning a stunning pink sparkly dress. When Gavin saw me, his eyes widened in amazement. He complimented me, saying, "Hey, sweetie, you're on fire tonight." I couldn't help but giggle at his words. His flattering comments made me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. Later that evening, after a delightful dinner, Gavin walked me home, and we shared our first magical kiss. He hugged me tightly and mentioned that he would be having a birthday party the following month. He expressed his desire for me to attend the party in the same dress I wore that night. It seemed that the little pink dress had cast quite a spell on him. Excited about the upcoming event, I rushed home, my thoughts consumed by the preparations. I knew I had to look my best, and while Gavin wanted me to wear the same dress, I felt the urge to impress everyone, not just him. However, I had promised myself that I wouldn't return to Natalie's house, and she hadn't reached out to me either. I found myself in a dilemma. Then it struck me, I could invite her to our house instead. By extending the invitation, I would avoid appearing greedy or solely interested in the gifts. I promptly called Natalie and invited her over for coffee, and to my surprise, she accepted. The next day, she arrived wearing an Armani suit worth at least $3,000 and a Rolex watch valued at $20,000. My mother and I anxiously awaited Natalie's arrival. Once she joined us, we engaged in some conversation. As I headed to the kitchen to prepare coffee, I overheard Natalie's disparaging remarks to my mom. Her voice dripped with nastiness as she criticized our family. "Look at her, trying to build a relationship with me. You think you're virtuous just because you adopted her," Natalie sneered. "Well, she needs more than you can offer. Your poverty prevents you from buying her even a new jacket. Observe how content she is with the few things I've gifted her, and those are just some clothes. What if I were to buy her a car or take her to Paris for Fashion Week? Prepare to let her go. I want her back." I was taken aback by Natalie's cruel words. Her intention was clear. She aimed to humiliate my parents, and I had unwittingly fallen into her manipulative trap. I had allowed myself to be enticed by material possessions, pretending to be interested in her to receive more gifts. In that moment, I realized we were more alike than I had thought. Summoning my resolve, I entered the living room. My mother's face bore the anguish caused by Natalie's hurtful words. Without hesitation, I addressed Natalie with a cold, unwavering tone. I invited you here today to return everything you've given me, and I never want to see you again. I had grasped the truth that blood relations did not automatically entitle someone to a place in your life. Natalie remained speechless, offering no reply. She collected her bag and departed. I embraced my mother tightly, seeking to erase the pain inflicted by Natalie's hurtful words. The following day, I returned all the clothes Natalie had given me, willingly relinquishing the extravagant gifts. I reverted to my previous self, the plain and unremarkable Nova. As anticipated, my newfound popularity waned and the girls lost interest in me. Some even mocked my return to a more ordinary style. Their taunts, however, held no sway over me. I simply disregarded their negativity. Soon after, Gavin's birthday celebration arrived. I chose to forego the pink dress, opting for one of my older black dresses instead. When I saw Gavin at the party, a sense of shame washed over me, and I apologized, claiming that the pink dress had been ruined and discarded. Gavin's response was heartwarming. He reassured me, saying, "It's all right. I fell in love with you, not the dress." He then wrapped his arm around me, and we began to dance. At least from this chaotic situation, I had gained a boyfriend.